In this video, we're going to see part 8, where we will learn how to configure the star events. Let's go to the application now. Go to Structure, Processes, Demo Events, OK. And then we need to go to the Start message. So we can go either to Objects, Events, IM, or just click here so we can see the diagram, OK, and click directly. Okay, here we have some options we have seen before. Remember that if we want to change the name, we can do it in languages. Here we can add a description for the diagram. Here, description for the documentation. Okay, we are gonna pay attention to this section now, activated by, okay? So first of all, we need a form to start the process. So we're gonna go and create one. It's gonna be a dynamic one. So I'm gonna change the name to Demo Events. Okay, I could choose a chapter, I could select some options here. We have seen that all before. I'm going to change the style to Bootstrap, okay? And in Window, I'm going to choose Indicate. And in Window Position, the same. And I'm going to, 550. Okay. Now that we have configured these form properties, I need to add an original division. Then I'm going to call Demo Events as well, okay? And I want to add a title and a logo, so for that I need to add 2 original complements. So first of all, let's add the logo. Okay, so we will go here to Gallery, Private Images, and this one, Accept Selection, Save and Exit, Save and Exit. Okay, and another one, in this case it will be the title. I'm gonna call it Dynamic. I can choose a style here, size, font if I wanted to. I'm gonna leave it like this. And now I'll just make it a bit smaller here. So now that we have created the form, the division, and 2 complements, we are going to add some fields. For that, I'm going to see the panel. So we go to All, and we will see the panel. We know that as soon as I create a class of processes, a panel is created with a lot of system terms, okay? Here I can see these 2 that we previously added, okay? Description and email. So I'm going to select Star Message Creator and description and email. And Star Message Creator. I'm leaving it this way because I'm going to add some more fields later on, okay? One thing I want to do is to change the name of this one. So for that, I need to select the division and go here. And in this option, I can customize and change the name. Start process. Okay. Okay, and now I want to add, maybe it's quicker if I go to here. Okay. Add fields, date and time. And I can find it here, start calendar view, and the end one. Okay. Make this a bit bigger. And this one as well. Let's add now a one-line text field, okay? Name subject that I created previously. Accept selection. Okay. And I'm going to add as well a comment log. The comment log allows me to create a field here and that all the data that is added here is stored in it, okay, in the comment log. So I can go directly here and I'm just going to call it just comment log general and reach multiple line, okay. So I can add formatted text and images as well. Save and exit, and now let's add it here. Let's make it a bit big as well. So now that we have configured the form for the EM, okay, we just can save it and go and see it in the application in execution. So remember, we went to form properties, okay, and selected several options. Then we added a division, okay, some complements, and then we just added the different fields that we needed, okay. It's really similar as when we were creating a form for a family of records, okay. Here we just have an extra option we didn't have before, okay, and it's the option user, okay. It can either be an employee, an external, or anonymous. We are just going to be working at first with the option employee, okay. And we didn't have this option in the families of records, okay, because we didn't have an appointed performer. So that's why we didn't need the option, okay. So let's go back here, okay, and we can see now the option default data, okay. We didn't have this option before, it's just appeared now because we have created the form, okay. Once we have saved the form and the default data option appears, we can see here, okay. And now we can add any of the fields we have in the form, okay. So I'm gonna add the email, and now the email I want to have as default data, okay. Save and exit, okay. So again, remember that this option only appears when we have configured the form, okay, because now the system knows all the fields that are in the form and all the fields that can be chosen as default data, okay. That's what before we couldn't do it. We have just chosen the email, okay. So we will see in execution how it works, okay. We have seen now the identity part and these two options, okay. We have web services, okay. We can publish this start of the process from a web service. I just have to select it and add a name here, okay. So we will just have to select it and add a name, okay, and then choose if we want the type we want, if we want soap, REST, or both, okay. I'm not gonna do it now, it's just so you know that we can do it, okay. Now you could, if you configure this, okay, the system will create a URL and that will be handy for later on, okay. But I'm not gonna do it now because it's not configured properly yet, okay. Now we have online commerce option, okay, that it simply allows us to start a process with payment gateways, okay. So again, we will just have to select it if we wanted to. Then we have access URL, okay. We can access to the IM from an URL directly, okay. It can be for an employee or an external user, okay. Once it's open, we can choose if we want to save it as a draft or not. And now a last option, that is this one, okay. Do not save drafts. If this option is marked, no drafts of this message will be saved, and it will not appear in the list of process start messages. It will only be possible to start it via the access URL, okay. We want the drafts to be saved, so when we start a process and add some data, we have the possibility of saving, not only finishing, okay. As we don't want to finish the process, we can continue filling out the IM form later. So we're going to leave it like this, not selected. Now another option here is calendar view that allows me to select date and time type of terms that I have in the process panel. I'm going to go here, okay, and select start, calendar view, and end calendar view. Okay, with this we have all the options to configure an IM, okay? Only to mention this option that we will see later on in execution, we will see how it works, that is allowed object to be moved with the mouse from the calendar view, okay? So remember this option because we will see it in execution a lot easier. It will be a lot easier to see it, how it works. Okay, so now we're going to see, now that we have seen how to configure a dynamic form, we're going to see how to configure a responsive one. So save and exit, and if I go here again, we are just gonna create a responsive one, but a really simple one, okay? We will see how to create responsive forms a lot more in detail later on, another time, yeah? Okay, so we are just gonna create a simple one this time. This, okay, that we have a tick here in the configuration means that this has been configured, okay? Which means that these two haven't yet, okay? So let's go back here, form, and we're going to choose responsive form this time instead, okay? So we have a window here that it says, do you want to use the wizard to create the form? We are going to accept, okay? And then we have here how to create a responsive form with the wizard, okay? It's a really simple thing to do. So we have write a title, okay, or a name. So we are going to call it demo responsive form, okay? We can choose a logo. We're going to go to the gallery and choose the same one as before. We have to choose the number of columns. I'm going to choose 2, okay? And then just press next. Now that we have the columns, we have to choose the fields, okay? We want to have. We will only have here the ones that we have in our panel already, okay? So I'm going to choose a one-line text, email, and drag it here. As you can see, it's really simple, okay? And a multiple line one, description. And also I want to add to date and time type of terms, okay? So should be here, start and end. And then we just need to click on finish. You can see the form is being created. And here we can see the preview in all the different devices, okay? So if we were gonna see it in a tablet, okay, you can see how it's gonna look like. Phone, small phone, okay? And here it says preview on current device, okay? So this will be in the device you are actually using. Okay, now I'm gonna set up some as mandatory. So if I go to email, so I just have to select the term, okay, and go here. And when it says mandatory, I just have to add yes, and just keep doing the same with the rest. I'm gonna set up the 4 as mandatory and select these two as theme as well. So email and description. Okay, and now we can save. Save. And if I go to the dynamic one, I'm going to choose 2 as themes as well because I didn't do it before. So I just have to go here, okay, and choose the ones I want as theme. I'm going to choose start process and subject, okay, and just save and exit. We will leave the dynamic form for now, okay, save and exit, save and exit. To try the process, we just have to go to Mode and select Development Environment. Then save and exit, and a window will pop up, okay, asking us, are you sure you want to allow processes to be initiated in development environment mode? We just have to say yes and accept. Okay. When we are still configuring, it is very useful to leave it in this mode, yeah, development environment, as it always lets you try the process and change it. If we selected, for example, testing environment, okay, the advantages would be that nobody could get in the development. But as I'm the only person developing it, in our case, it's just easier to leave it as development mode. So save and exit, accept, yeah. Save and exit and go to my tasks now. So let's start a process. Okay, as you can see, I have as default, the dynamic form. Okay, I've just created. Here we can also see this is the default data, okay, that we set it up before. We can see the starts process, okay, that is the start message creator. This is a system term, okay, that comes with its data. And now we're gonna just add some data here. Subject, description, we just add description and common log. Okay, and I'm not going to start the process, okay, just save it because I haven't configured the whole thing. So I just wanna show you the calendar option, okay. So if I go to my tasks and I go to month calendar view, okay, I can see here the testing dynamic form. If I wanted to drag it, okay, and change the date, the start date from the 3rd to the 4th, we can see we are allowed to do it. And this is because we selected allow object to be moved with the mouse from the calendar view option, okay, when we were configuring it. If I go back to the process now, sorry, if I go to the process here, okay, I can see that the dates have also changed. Now let's go to structure, processes, demo events, form, and let's change it to the responsive form now. And if we go back to my tasks, okay, and start a process, demo events, we can see now that this is the responsive form instead of the dynamic one, okay, we had before. We can see, okay, that this responsive form, okay, just adapts its size to the screen. Okay, as I mentioned before, it is really simple to create a responsive form with the help of the wizard. Now we have learned about the start events. It's your turn to try to do part 4 and 5.